before cities, before books, before even shoes. There were people who looked up at the sky and wondered. They saw the fire fall from the clouds. They heard thunder roll across the mountains. And someone whispered, "There must be a big angry man up there." And just like that, the first God was born, not in heaven, but in the human mind. They prayed to the sun because it was bright, to the moon because it watched them sleep, and to rocks because rocks never ran when frightened. The world was wild. People were small, and they needed someone bigger to protect them. So they made gods, from fire, from wind, from the very things that scared them most. As people got smarter, their gods got fancier. Egypt had gods with falcon heads and crocodile teeth. Greece had gods who argued like a noisy family dinner. And in Babylon, they built towers so high, they thought they could knock on heaven's door. Everywhere, humans were reaching up. But every time they thought they'd found heaven, heaven moved a little higher. We carved gods into stone. We dressed them in gold. We gave them names, temples, and songs. But deep down, we weren't sure they were listening. Because every time the earth shook, every time a child died, every time war burned through cities, we wondered, are our gods angry or just not there? Then came the thinkers, men with scrolls and sandals and too many questions. What if there's just one God? They asked, the one behind all the others. It was a new idea, big, scary, dangerous, because one God meant one truth, and people weren't ready to agree on that yet. Kingdoms rose and fell. Gods changed names, shapes, and stories. But deep inside, humanity kept searching for someone who didn't change. A God not made of gold or wood or fear. Then came the whispers. A man named Abraham left his home because a voice said, "Trust." Moses climbed a mountain and came down glowing, carrying words not written by man. Isaiah spoke of someone who was coming, not a God on a throne, but one who would walk among men. People waited and waited and waited. Generations came and went. Empires rose like waves and fell into dust. But the promise remained, that one day heaven itself would touch the earth. And then, in a quiet town, under a sky full of stars, no thunder, no golden statue, no blazing light, a baby cried in a manger. No one expected God to look like that. No crown, no army, just love, wrapped in cloth. For thousands of years, the world searched the heavens. But the truth had come down to walk beside them. The hands that shaped the stars now reached out to touch a mother's face. He healed the sick, washed the feet of the broken, and taught men that the greatest power was love. And when they nailed him to wood, it wasn't the end. It was heaven's answer to mankind's oldest prayer. And now, here we are. In a world of skyscrapers, satellites, and glowing screens, we no longer bow to statues. We stare at screens. We build new idols not of gold, but of glass and pixels. We pray for followers, worship algorithms, and sacrifice our peace for attention. But the story hasn't changed. We still reach up, and heaven still reaches down, because the real God was never lost. We were, and the sun came to show us the way home. Heaven was never far away. It was waiting, just beyond our pride, beneath our noise, inside the quiet place, where a heart dares to believe again. So maybe the gods we made were never the story. Maybe they were just echoes of the one we've been longing for all along. This is the story of mankind's search for heaven and heaven's search for us.